So before I get into get into the study guide in terms of page two, I want to give you another hint or tip, and that is when it comes to one or two items that are focused on this bullet point right here, or this bulleted item or list, make sure that you can also recall the names of the branches that we have focused on. So your hint is that one starts with E, one starts with M. Actually, two start with E and one starts with M. But just looking at uh, maybe you can look at the chapter titles, you can look at the syllabus to see if I said in the course schedule what branch we're exploring. But hopefully in virtue of just going through the curriculum, you know what I mean by a branch of philosophy. Again, the author does introduce the branches. Very important to spell the words correctly. If I do scroll through all of your answers just to check the automatic scoring, but also just to check and make sure there's nothing weird, like everyone's missing the same question, so maybe I'm at fault for something. And I do try to catch spelling mistakes and errors, but I might not always do that. So make sure that you're spelling the words correctly to make sure that you get full credit for a word that you know, or a word that's a name that you know. Because you never know, I might be tired or whatnot. So please make sure you look up the way the word is spelled so that you make it more likely that you get full credit. Okay, so also when it comes to, where is it? Remember this item. Remember in the other video I was going over why this is in this section here, even though you find the information later, right? 3 or 4 sections later within the chapter. And so I just wanted to be extra nice and show you where that information is. So this is 5.3 utilitarianism, but for some odd reason, Lawhead decides that that's where he's going to introduce you to some very general information that is not specific just to utilitarianism. Like I said, I think he should introduce this information to you in the introductory section to this chapter, but this is page 464, it looks like. All right, so, okay, so let's continue. I'm going to change that page layout just a little bit there. Okay, so now going on to focus on utilitarianism, you'll notice, well, right now I'm going to focus on all three. So you have your section on utilitarianism, Kantian ethics, and of course, virtue ethics. And I don't think, I have categorizations of theory here. So what do I mean by categorizations of theory? So you learn that these ethical theories can be categorized according to their status as either objectivist theories or those that fall under a more general category of objectivism. And you learn that they can be categorized as, of course, as consequential or deontological, formalistic or teleological. So you need to know under which more general categorizations each theory would fall under. So again, you're looking at the categories of objectivism, relativism. You were first introduced to that in the introductory chapter. So to know that, you have to go back to 5.0, but you also have to look at the beginning for 5.3 when it's going over these other kinds of category of theory. So maybe really what I should have done is you might want to add a bullet here and add objectivism, relativism. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on. So what I just covered right now then is for the first bullet for each of the 3 theories that are cited on page 2. Now we're going to talk about the scope of the theory compared to the ethical egoist. You might be saying, but wait, you didn't have us read about the ethical egoist. I know. And notice that, again, I don't have you guys read every single word in every single chapter. I would rather you focus on really understanding less, because I actually think you can learn more than trying to read a bunch of stuff that you're not going to remember. So my idea is that if you're really interested, you'll go ahead and read the other stuff on your own or follow up with it, because you do have access to this book, or at least the e-version of it, I think like at least a couple months after the semester ends. Okay, that said, the author does give you enough information to answer this question. So that is going to be following.
You've been reading for some time now, but you haven't stopped.
I guess I'm kind of activated as a student right now in this text. So you're going to go down further to get his comparison, or Lawhead's comparison of utilitarianism to ethical egoism, because they actually both fall under two similar headings of category of theory. So your clue for that is to keep just scrolling down, and what you need to know about that bullet I just named and the study guide is going to come before he starts talking about Bentham. So what you need to know about this comes just before Lawhead's discussion of Bentham. Same thing with the principle of utility. That's going to be covered just before he starts talking about Bentham. Then, of course, you're going to focus on Bentham. So obviously, you are going to go to the section that starts with Bentham in your book. I don't know why, but it seems like my page numbers aren't scrolling. Hold on. Let me see if I can change that. Okay, so looks like page 469 is where he starts talking about Bentham. So you might not see the whole page, but I'm going to do it this way because otherwise I can't see what page number we're on. But this will give you a visual idea of where we're at. So you'll want to see what Bentham, what does Bentham mean by two masters? What does he mean by we have two masters? What are they? What is psychological egoism and ethical egoism? And so these are concepts that are covered in relation to the ethical egoist or ethical egoism as a theory all in and of itself. But you're going to learn more about this, or you're going to learn about these concepts specific to Bentham's notion of what he means by two masters. And you want to read carefully and make sure that you understand the distinction. Even though these are two kinds of egoism, right? There is still a distinction. So they do have a connection. They can interconnect, but they still have their own unique aspects. So how is this different from this one? How might they connect in a moral theory? But more specifically, how do they connect for Bentham? Features and factors in his hedonic calculus. So you're gonna, make sure that you go through that stuff. If you get to Mill, you've gone too far when you're looking at that. Okay, so you want to see where does Lawhead start talking about the hedonic calculus, and to give you a little bit of assistance. Oh no, hold on. Okay, something is going on with my video, so I'm going to stop it and I'm going to have to create another portion, but you'll probably have to wait till a little bit later to access it. Sorry for the weirdness, but another video will continue and hopefully complete the study guide assistance.